Hello everyone, and welcome to the episode proper for Dizzy Wright, and we start with his debut album, Smoker Conversations. Released in 2012, it will come out through Funk Volume, and it was produced by about 6 different people. So the background for this is again fairly short, as I already covered most of it, and the most interesting thing I can think of is that it was released on 420 Day on purpose. So with that being said, let's move on. The album starts with the title track, which is a rarity for this series, and I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of approach to hip-hop. It's got a really good handle on its beats, sticking to a good core sound on them that gave me some Run the Jewels vibes, honestly. It's hard not to like the lyrics or something like this, as I like a good multi-syllable rap, even if the subject matter of pain, weed and regret doesn't feel too new. Dizzy's performance is great, and it's surprising that there's not a lot of guest stars on this, and the dude just really ties the album together well on his own. The production is pretty solid, adding a lot of nice elements and making for some really fun surprises here and there too. It's long in terms of structure, and it has trouble sticking to a tone for the most part, but it is pretty fleshed out with that. My favourite song goes to Get It Together. It's not a perfect debut, but Dizzy puts on a good central performance and he finds his feet early in a lot of unique ways. Next is the dude's second album, The Growing Process. Released in 2015, it was released through Funk Volume again with Warner Brothers helping, and it had a whole heap of producers to help too. So yeah, Dizzy Wright was super busy, right, putting out another mixtape, another EP, and going on a massive tour to promote all of that, including his debut album as well. Then he got to work on this one, which starts with the intro track titled Higher Learning Intro, and immediately this seems like a different Dizzy Wright album. For starters, the instrumental work is a bit more layered and controlled, with more original feeling beats and samples. A lot more of the lyrics are more conscious, with a strong focus on gun violence, black hate crime, and distraught families, all told so wonderfully. The production is a lot better, allowing more of the album to breathe and feel a lot more organic, and it's just all really good. Dizzy definitely sounds better with a smoother flow and a really good delivery to his bars. The dude's grown with the process, you could say. And the album is 20 minutes longer than Smoker, but it's also better for it and adds a lot more meat to the structure, mix up really well and change up in a lot of nice ways. My favourite song goes to No Time Is Better, featuring the Over to Phenom. Dizzy shows a lot of growth and maturity, and considering it's his second album, the dude's got plenty left in the tank. Next is Dizzy's third album, The Golden Age 2. Released in 2017, it would be his first through Still Moving Records, and I couldn't find a lot for the producers, but let's assume that it had a lot of people working on it again, and we'll just move on now. So again, Dizzy was busy with a lot of stuff, putting out EPs and mixtapes, but eventually got around to putting out 2 albums in 2017, and this is the first of those 2. It opens with a song Looking Out featuring Euros, and I think by this point Dizzy has found his pretty unique style of rap. The beats are a bit more stripped down and less complex, but it still works and they're fun to listen to. The lyrics don't feel as deep this time around, but it does have nice references to all the work, and the construction is still a lot of fun to witness as well. The production is solid, making it all sound clean as usual and feeling tightly focused and adding a lot of really good elements. Dizzy is still a pretty captivating central performer, and he puts in some really good work, as you would expect from him by this point. It's again a long album in terms of structure, and it doesn't change things too much, but it's not really boring in any way either, and it just really finds that sweet spot. My favourite song goes to Fuck Fake Love. The Golden Age 2 isn't as strong as his last work, but it's still a good album, and Dizzy keeps improving in a lot of areas too. Next is Dizzy's fourth album, State of Mind 2. This one was released about 3 months after The Golden Age 2. It was put out through the same label, and it probably had lots of producers working on it as well. I also have no goddamn background for this one, and I doubt there was touring, but all I could say is that it was named after another one of his mixtapes, so let's just move on. It starts with the song No Rush, and I can't really say a lot by this point that doesn't repeat itself, but I'll try, damn it. So in terms of its instrumental work, it sort of has a more heavy vibe to it, more simplified by having a bit more heft to the beats too. The lyrics are again more personal, covering things like love, loss and politics as well, again with a good focus on black lives in America. The production is good as usual, really slick and putting on really good focus at certain points of the album. Dizzy's a solid performer, but this might also be his best album in terms of guest stars so far, who could say? The album is also about 20 minutes shorter than his last one, and the structure packs a lot into that, fleshing it out wonderfully and showing a good selection of songs. My favourite song of which goes to Wanna Remind You. Despite the short time gap, this is still top-notch work from Diz, and he continues to be entertaining and authentic in a lot of ways. Next is his fifth album, Nobody Cares, Work Harder. Released in 2019, it would be his last through Still Moving, and it was again maybe produced by loads of other peeps. So once again, Dizzy was really busy with other things, putting out a massive collab album titled 1 Week Notice in 2018, and there was even an EP, and also probably more touring as you do. With that said, we start with the first song here titled Self Love Is Powerful featuring Mozzie, which already hints at this album's tone and direction. It's instrumentally different, adding some guitar stuff along with some solid drum beats that have really good layering. Lyrically, it's still serious, talking about American politics, relationships, self-love, and women's rights, all very complex and well-handled subjects. The performances of the guest stars are damn good, and Dizzy's delivery and flow sound as great as they ever do, letting his personality show quite nicely. It's produced pretty well too, mixed well and sounding polished and making everything feel clean and neat and tidy. It's also got good structure, with catchy hooks and a lot more depth to the songwriting that I liked, filling out its minutes wonderfully. My favourite song goes to Melanated Kings featuring Nowadays. NCWH is a positive leaning album with the Dizzy signature style and poignancy all over it. And finally, we reached Dizzy's 6th and most recent album, My Hustle and Mash. Released in 2020, it would be his first through his own self-titled label, and it was produced by people who do producing. And And I have absolutely no background for this one given the relatively short time gap, so let's just get to the album. It starts with the song I've Been There Too featuring Austin Sexton, and yeah, this song shows this album's aim right at the gate. The album is a more sort of modern rap album in that it's not something that usually fits Dizzy's style to this point, so let's try and unpack that. The beats are just kind of basic on this one. There's some light synth and drum machines, and it's a bit repetitive at times and just feels a bit uninspired, like, yeah. The lyrics are the same, talking more about sex, drugs, clubbing, aka everything that Dizzy used to really be against in his lyrics. But Dizzy himself is still a good performer for the most part, still good delivery, even if he sounds a bit apathetic at points. The production's decent as well, with really good shine on the album's elements and actually sounding the cleanest of any Dizzy Wright album. The structuring is a bit odd though, some songs end too quick, and this is the Dude Short's album as well, and it can feel a bit too streamlined at times if that makes sense. My hustle and match flows in the conventions that Dizzy usually avoids falling into, but he's having fun flexing, I guess. So that's it for another episode. This was another really fun one to do for the most part. I think I could have missed his last album, but it had good moments and this wasn't exactly unpleasant to write. I would like to thank my friend Selk again for suggesting this, and let's see what's next. Oh, I want to say thank you to everyone who watched PBW vs AVW last night. It was a hell of a go-home stream, and my god, that match between Babe Dylan and Rox was a thing of absolute beauty, and I can't wait for Resolutions Per Minute this Friday. I do need to add a couple of stipulations to the matches on pay-per-view, but besides that, it is all cleaned and good to go, so we'll get to that when we get to it. Also, tomorrow, I'm going to try and get the most recent Ultimate Fire episode review done, so expect that on the line too. As for the next episode of Backtracking, it will be Andrew WK as requested by my good friend Crimson Charlie, aka Doc. And as always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.